Hey guys, how's it going? Troy and Tyler here again with Men at War. I hope you guys are doing great this week. I don't know where you're at in the U.S., but probably got some snow on the ground. If you're anything like me and Tyler, so hopefully you guys are enjoying that and staying warm. And just want to start the video off today real quick. Got a lot of great feedback already from the first 2 weeks, so appreciate you guys sharing. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your comments. Again, guys, we're doing this to build this community. So thank you guys for engaging. And thank you for, again, sending it to your friends and for the feedback. So keep liking, commenting, sharing. We just want to get this out to as many people as possible. So just follow us on our YouTube channel, Men at War. And yeah, just keep helping us get it out to as many men as possible.
We've had quite a bit of text messages, emails, whatever communications this last couple of weeks, and it's been incredible. Guys are like, finally jumping back into the Bible after so many years, months, whatever, and other people reaching out and saying this has been helpful. So it's encouraging for us to keep setting aside time and making videos and reaching out to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was so fun. Tyler and I were talking about that. Just our phones were blowing up. We're getting a ton of text messages, ton of emails. So we appreciate that, guys. It encourages us to keep going, and allows us to keep digging in and really pouring some energy in here to just bring you guys the best messages we can. And again, for those of you that are new or don't personally know us, we don't come from deep theology backgrounds. We're bringing real world experience from our military life, from our law enforcement life, just our family life, just kind of ups and downs in a faith journey. And so this is just going to be organic, straight from the heart. We're going to read scripture. It's going to be from the Bible. Our goal here is to always speak truth. So this is Tyler and I constantly say, like, this isn't mine and his story. This is what we feel God is calling us to say and talk about, and so we're just going to continue to roll with that. And as we move on along and put more content out there, like, we'd love to hear from you guys. I know Tyler and I have talked about that a lot. Of just we're going to get to a point where we want to hear what you guys want to hear about. Areas, because we as men, we tend to struggle with the same challenges, right? And so we'd love to hear the topics that you guys would want us to discuss, because there's a good chance we've been there, we've seen it, we've done it, we've lived it. One other thing, Tyler, if you want to hit on kind of, we talked about the swim buddy, like getting a guy's minds starting to think about who their buddy might be.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been talking about the swim buddy model, and Troy and I have been living it out every day. Text messages, hey, this is what's going on, and it's real, it's raw, it's vulnerable, it's uncomfortable at times, but thinking about that swim buddy, and for the best example I can give you is what Troy and I have established, which is, that first line of defense for me is being able to obviously pray, but reach out to Troy and say, hey, these are the things I'm struggling with, these are the things that I need help on. And I know it's a place of no judgment, because Troy's been there, we've all been there as men, as fathers and husbands. So yeah, just thinking about that person in your life that you can go to, whether it's a phone call, a text message, maybe it's your brother, a really close friend, somebody that you work with, and just having that level of trust and commitment to each other, that no matter how wicked the storms get, no matter how nasty and deep you are in sin in different areas of your life, you can reach out, say, hey, I'm struggling with this type of addiction or alcohol, or online adult content, whatever it is, that you can just be open and honest and say, dude, I need some prayers. How do I navigate these waters? And it's just start thinking about that person today. And if you're comfortable with that idea, then maybe reach out to that person. Just share this video and kind of share what your thoughts are and what the swim buddy is.
And we're bringing that up, guys. We'll continue to bring it up for the next few weeks because you keep hearing us say the swim buddy model. But again, we have documented, Tyler and I, kind of what our processes looked like, and we have some really good recommendations and points for you guys and scripture attached to it, and really what our relationship looks like. So that's why we're bringing it up now. Give you time to start thinking about that buddy. Go ahead and start connecting with him. Ask him if he'd be interested. Start sharing the videos with him, because the next few weeks, after we get through the armor of God, we're going to roll right into that swim buddy model, and we want you guys to be. We'd love for both swim buddies to be there, be engaging, so you guys can really, you can learn it together and you can start walking it out together. So that's what we're really excited for. So think about it this weekend. Send a text out to somebody in your contact list that you think might be interested to be that swim buddy for you, because it is so valuable and it makes life a lot easier when you have that guy you can go to. So
It's nice to go to that person and celebrate wins, but also dive into those hardships, those hard times, and guarantee that person's been through it before. If not, I'm sure they can relate on some level to where you guys can walk that path together and lock arms and just provide that level of support that we all need in today's world.
and guys, if you're having a hard time finding a swim buddy, or you need recommendations, or you just don't feel comfortable reaching out to anybody, just you can reach out to us, comment on this video, and we can try to help give you suggestions or ideas of how to find somebody, or try to get you paired up with somebody. We have a ton of guys that would be willing and interested in that. So just know you can reach out, leave a comment, and we'll help you guys out. So, all right. This is week 3 now. I guess week 2 of the year. So we told you last week we were going to roll into Armor of God, and this one's very exciting for Tyler and I. We were right before this video. We were just talking about what it's like to put on the physical armor of, be it in special forces community or be the law enforcement community. You guys out there watching this video that have put the kit on before, like, what we're talking about when, just a little bit ago I said, what that sounds like when the Velcro goes like, and you started smiling ear to ear, Tyler, right? It's like, that's a sign of like go time, right?
That feeling of, from like you said, military, special forces, special warfare background, law enforcement background, that feeling of putting on that kit, putting on that vest, helmet, glove, whatever it is, gloves. Um, it's a physical sense of you're getting prepared. You're getting yourself, your body, your mind, everything prepared at that locker uh,
Mm.
for war, for potentially horrible things to come. And as hard and as scary as that is, it's the reality of life. It's there's bad things out there, but just knowing that there's men who still stand that line and put on that vest, put on that helmet, doing gear check, whatever, is just it's an amazing feeling because you know that you are one of the first lines of defense against evil in the world.
And just real quick, for anybody who might not know what we're talking about when we say armor of God, I've kind of had several conversations with guys leading up to this, and they weren't really familiar with it, and that's fine. The armor of God comes out of Ephesians 6, and it's verse 10 through 18, and it's from Apostle Paul, and he is writing to us as believers and highlighting what this armor is. And for the longest time, Tyler, I don't know how you were, but for the longest time when I thought about the armor of God, I basically just looked at it as a metaphor, and I was like, it's not really, it's just something that we talk about. It's kind of a symbol, right? And I didn't really see how you could apply the armor and how you could get that same feeling that we were just talking about kitting up before you roll out the door, before you go out on op, before you go do a drug bust in the city. I never made that correlation until a few years ago, and now when I read Ephesians 6:10 through 18, and I read about the pieces of the armor of God, I now look at it through that lens of like, I hear that Velcro unleash in the morning when I'm like, all right, it's time to throw my kit on. Like, now I'm putting on the armor of God. Now I'm praying over these pieces. And it just pumps me up, man. Like, it gets me fired up. I get that feeling that you get in the war room when it's like, when like you got AC/DC pumping in the locker room. You're doing your gear check. You're strapping on your kit. You're throwing your bump helmet on. You're getting your weapon ready. Like, it's that same feeling, because it has that power. It has more power than that, and that's what was a game changer for me when I realized it has more power than what we were doing in the war room.
That preparation, speaking of Ephesians 6, I think you said 10 through 11, right? Or 10 through 18, putting on that full armor of God, that to me is, in a small way, when I think about it and pray on it, it really is, it gives me like a sense of purpose. It feels like, as a man, it gives me that sense of purpose, that there's goal directed activities in my day, goal directed prayer, very specific prayer, very specific goals that I can focus on. And it makes me feel like I have that sense of purpose. That everything I'm doing, every action, every prayer, every word that I read, everything that I pray has meaning.
Real quickly, I want to go ahead and read the passage. So for those of you that are not familiar with it, I just want to go ahead and read what this armor looks like, and then let's keep diving in and talking, like, again, kind of how we physically apply it, like what it looks like for us, how we mentally pray through it, and but yeah, let's go. Ephesians 6:10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For the struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you've done everything to stand firm then. And then here it goes. We'll list them out real quick. It says, stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And then verse 17, take up the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. So that's Ephesians 6:10 through 17, and that kind of highlights that armor. But it's right there, guys. Like, it talks all through the scripture. The enemy's out to get us. The enemy's going to cause conflict. The enemy is going to come after us with everything he's got, to include flaming arrows. We have a piece of armor that is meant to extinguish the flaming arrows coming from the evil one. So, guys, from a 30,000 foot view, this armor, we're going to war every single day. Like, if you don't understand that from the passage, like, it's a war out there. We as men, we are under attack every single day, and it's our job to get up, put this armor on, pray through every single piece as we're putting it on, prepare ourselves so that when we go out in the world and the evil one's after us, he doesn't win. We have the power, because of what God has provided for us, that we can go fight the evil one and we can resist his schemes.
This is a war over your soul. This is like the absolute most important war of our entire existence. And The evil one has had since the beginning, since man was created, the devil has had thousands and thousands and thousands of years to strategize and form his tactics. And that's why every single piece of what Troy just read out, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, all these pieces are so vitally important because if there's one crack in your armor, the devil knows how to get there and he knows how to work it. He knows how to manipulate it and make it look like take something really good and twist it. Take something really that God made that's really a phenomenal joy or a pleasure in life and manipulate it and twist it. And so the war that we're talking about is your salvation, it's your soul, and the devil wants it every day. From the like we said the last video, I think the minute you wake up, you have to be deliberate and you have to be very very precise with these things because it's very serious. And I think that the days that we don't take it seriously, we relax a little bit, it comes off to us like just hey, I'm having a great day, but it's again, it's these little pieces. The evil one, the devil finds his way in, and it's for your soul, guys.
The enemy wants to steal, kill, and destroy every single day. It's that was again, last video I talked about having an aha moment of not seeking first the kingdom and righteousness, and it was the same thing. I had an aha moment with this of just like, why does my morning start out great, but then as soon as I'm outside in the world, as soon as I leave my walls of my house, why do I start feeling, you name it? Why does depression kick in? Why does anxiety kick in? Why is there fear? Why am I listening to the wrong music? Why am I having the wrong thoughts in my head? Why am I having greed in my heart? It was just, and I had that aha moment again of like, once I really started looking of what the armor was and how you can apply it and what it's there for, and I realized I was just getting up in my day and I was just leaving my house and the moment I realized is when I relate it to an op, or if you're going out on a bus, Tyler. I put myself back in that scenario of like, let's say I got a tasking and I'm getting ready to go out on an op, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'll just throw on my cami pants and my top, and I'll just roll like that. You know what? I don't even take my weapon with me today. I'm just gonna go out there and run around, and that's not gonna be successful, right? We'd never do that. That's insane. So for me, when I started looking at it from that perspective of like, think about how much preparation you put in to go on an op, or make sure your gear's right for when you're clocking in on shift for PD work. You take the time to check your gear, make sure it's right. You put it on, right? That's step one's inspect it. Step two is like actually physically put it on. And when I started thinking about that way, it made it a whole lot easier to understand why my day wasn't going good and why I need to put that armor on every day.
Yeah, like you said, whatever type of work that you're in, I mean, we can relate to military and law enforcement type of work, but you know, I think with so many different industries too, you want to be prepared, for maybe it's even something as simple as a presentation, a business presentation. You want to be prepared, and it's the same. I wouldn't even say it's the same. There's more of a level of seriousness that you have for preparation for your soul, and that's exactly what we're talking about. You're putting on the armor, and you know you're checking it. You're doing that gear check. You're doing like a function check. You make sure everything is live and ready to go. And I mean, we take it pretty seriously. Ever since you actually shared with me Ephesians, ever since that day in my head, I'm thinking, all right, like I have to be very precise about this, and very deliberate. So it's it's real. It's the real deal.
Yeah, and guys, there again, like I'm bringing this to you from a point of like I wasn't doing it, I didn't have it right, and I was paying the price outside of these walls. And so that's why I wanted to share this to you. Of like, I saw what I used to look like and how I was trying to fight off the enemy, and it wasn't working. And that's why I want to share this with you now, like, of how it can work and how it does work. And it is, again, it's night and day different when you can wake up in your morning, just like we talked about last week. If you can get in the Bible, if you can listen to some worship music, if you can pray, that starts your day off so much different. And so I actually started literally praying over this armor before my feet would even hit the ground, or when my feet hit the ground. And we'll dive into this next week. We want to go through every single piece next week, right, Tyler? We want to kind of lay it out for him. But as soon as my feet hit the ground, that started my first piece of armor, because I actually just pray it like ground up, so that I was getting ready for an op. Like I would do the gospel of peace first, then the belt of truth, then the breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation, shield of faith, sword of spirit. Is kind of how I went through it. And that would be my big challenge this week. Good news about Men at War is you're going to get a challenge every single week. So I would say the challenge this week is every single morning you wake up, think about those pieces of armor. And real quick, just real quick, guys, it doesn't even take 30 seconds. If you can get in the habit of applying that every single day and really thinking about it, like pray on it. Pray as you put it on. And, Tyler, I told another one of my SEAL buddies one time, I just said, when I pray on it, like I physically remember what it feels like to put that kit on, right? And I know some guys don't have that experience to fall back on, but it is just a cool way to think about. If you've ever had a 35-pound kit sitting on your shoulders and your chest, you hear that Velcro, you have the smell of your kit, right? Like sometimes it's still wet from the night before of the ops you were running, right? Like putting that damp kit on, like having that smell, like it sounds weird, but for all you military and law enforcement guys, you're going to be like, oh yeah, man, that makes all kinds of sense. That's what I would love to get you guys to every morning. If you can kind of get in that routine, get in that habit of putting the armor on, and again, military guys, law enforcement guys, anybody that's had that on, you're going to get, that's going to make sense. But Tyler, kind of what you were saying, of like, if that's not your case, and you're, think about your daily routine of, just like you're saying, preparing for a meeting or preparing for a presentation. Like, think about your routine that you go through and correlate it to your work. Like any process you have to have for your work, or procedures that you follow, X, Y, and Z. Like, think about it in the same way. Relate it to your life. Relate it to a task that you've done throughout your life, and I'm telling you, it'll be a game changer. It's, if you can start getting in the habit, put it on every day, it's going to be amazing how you can fight off the enemy's schemes, because he's out to get us. So got to be prepared.
Just by doing that, watch the fruits that come from that. You start doing that, maybe day one you don't notice a difference, but maybe day three you do, maybe day five, whatever. But just watch how it grows when you start putting that line of defense up against the devil. I think you'll notice some differences in your life. You'll be surprised. So like Troy said, there's this week's challenge. Get after it, try it, do it.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions on again what the pieces are, or what this whole Ephesians 6:10 through 18, what any of this means. Next week, setting up for next week, we are going to go through piece by piece, and kind of break down. And I want to show you just the quick prayer that I have around every piece. And that's what, Tyler, that's what I shared with you a year ago. And that's what Tyler and I talk about all the time, of like what what a good routine that is to pray over that real fast, and then just that'll carry you throughout the day. Once you really dive into each individual piece and know the area that the enemy's trying to attack underneath that armor, and just know the power of that piece of armor that you have on, what you can fight off. It's been a game changer for me. Like, I can't wait to get into it next week. Like, I already want to get into it, but like, the enemy doesn't have control over your mind anymore because you have the helmet on. Like, he doesn't have control over your heart and your soul anymore because you have the breastplate of righteousness on. Like, it says right in the scripture, we can extinguish flaming arrows. So anything from exterior, from the world that the enemy wants to throw at us, all we have to do is hold up our shield and we extinguish the arrow. Like, so I mean, you guys can see I'm like getting fired up. I can't wait to go through piece by piece with you guys. But in addition to praying over that every single day, every morning, putting that armor on, I would encourage you go in Ephesians 6. Just read the whole chapter. Read Ephesians 6, but verse 10 through 18. It'll telling you guys, it'll change your life if you can get up and do it every day. So, you got anything else, Tyler?
Man, I love it. It's great. Weekly challenge. Like Troy talked about, Ephesians, jump into it. Watch how your life changes. And again, just to circle back, think about the swim buddy. So think about that guy in your
Yeah.
life that you can go to. So
Yeah.
just get after it this week, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, send this to all your buddies. Send it to anybody you could think could get benefit from this, that could be encouraged by it, because that's what we're here for, guys. We just want to encourage as many men as possible and link arms with everybody. So share it to whoever you can think of, and be praying for you guys this week. Hopefully you guys have a great week, and look forward to seeing you next week to carry on with every individual piece of the armor. So Troy and Tyler signing off. Men at War.